What is decent work and economic growth? Today, having a job is a priority, but not just any job. It must be a quality job. Decent work means dignity, equality, safety, and fair income for everyone. By giving women and men a voice in what they do, you are putting people at the center of development. You are providing them with the right to protect them from exploitation, and most importantly, you are giving them a future which is sustainable. In communities where there's a large population but few jobs go around, demand for work is extremely high. Employers can pay low salaries because workers have no other option. So basically, if workers are injured in the workplace because work conditions are poor, employees have no right to compensation, and because of this, they can fall into debt. Everyone deserves to live in a world where working conditions are safe, inclusive, and equal, so that everyone can progress in life.
The key role of decent work for all in achieving sustainable development is highlighted by Sustainable Development Goal 8, which aims to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. Decent work, employment creation, social protection, rights at work, and social dialogue represent integral elements of the new 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Sustained and inclusive economic growth can drive progress, create decent jobs for all, and improve living standards. A continued lack of decent work opportunities, insufficient investments, and underconsumption lead to an erosion of the basic social contract underlying democratic societies that almost share in progress. Chapter 3 of Agenda 21 reiterates in different sections the need of generating employment for vulnerable groups, specifically women, urban poor, unemployed rural labor, as well as low-income urban residents. Even before the outbreak of COVID-19, 1 in 5 countries, home to billions of people living in poverty, were likely to see per capita income stagnate or decline in 2020. Now, the economic and financial shocks associated with COVID-19, such as disruptions to industrial production, falling commodity prices, financial market volatility, and rising insecurity, are derailing the already tepid economic growth and compounding heightened risks from other factors.
What actions should be taken to make this possible? A common action that causes economic growth is consumer spending. For example, if consumers start buying houses, house builders and contractors will notice an increase in their economies, which leads to them investing in their businesses and to raise their wages. Then, construction workers will have more money to spend and to converting consumer spending, causing bigger incomes to another industry, and leading to a general economic growth. What should be changed to encourage decent work is a bit different. Maybe we should start by implementing global standards, which shall be accepted and fulfilled by all countries in a certain period of time. These standards should meet what a person needs to live freely, or at least in the most human way possible. Wages should be different depending on the country. Some countries are way cheaper to live in than others, but decent, or as I said, at least human working conditions should be universal.
What are the decent work and economic growth targets? The United Nations have 12 main objectives for the decent work and economic growth. They want to accomplish those objectives by 2030. The objectives are: sustain per capita economic growth in accordance with national circumstances, achieve higher levels of economic productivity through diversification, technological upgrading, and innovation, promote development-oriented policies that support productive activities, decent job creation, entrepreneurship, creativity, and innovation, improve progressively through 2030 global resource efficiency in consumption and production, and endeavor to decouple economic growth from environmental degradation. By 2030, achieve full and productive employment and decent work for all women and men. By 2020, substantially reduce the production of youth not in employment, education, or training. Take immediate and effective measures to eradicate forced labor and modern slavery and human trafficking, and secure the prohibition and elimination of the worst forms of child labor. Protect labor rights and promote safe and secure working environments for all workers, including migrant workers. By 2030, devise and implement policies to promote sustainable tourism that creates jobs and promotes local culture and products. Strengthen the capacity of domestic financial institutions to encourage and expand access to banking, insurance, and financial services for all. Increase aid for trade support for developing countries, in particular the least developed countries. By 2020, develop and operationalize a global strategy for youth employment and implement the Global Jobs Pact of International Labour Organization.
The global unemployment rate in 2017 was 5.6% down, from 6.4% in the 2000s. Globally, 61% of all workers were engaged in informal employment in 2016. Excluding the agricultural sector, 51% of all workers fell into this employment category. Men earned 12.5% more than women in 40 out of 45 countries with data. The global gender pay gap stands at 23% globally, and without decisive action, it will take another 68 years to achieve equal pay. Women's labor force participation rate is 63%, while that of men is 94%. Despite their increasing presence in public life, women continue to do 2.6 times the unpaid care and domestic work that men do. And the pandemic is expected to have a devastating impact on global unemployment. According to estimates from the International Labour Organization, global working hours could drop by 14% in the second quarter of 2020, and this is equivalent to approximately 400 billion full-time workers doing a 48-hour work week.